Hi everybody, welcome to the WESTHAM Network. Hope you're all safe and well, my friends. If you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Balmy day in Hornchurch today. Very nice and sunny. Hope you're all these 4-day weeks. I can get used to these 4-day weeks, innit? Well, if you're in the UK, of course. Today, very, very special guest. We love doing these live Q&As. Someone said I shouldn't call it, he's going to call it Laters with Slaters, so that's what we're going to call it. He's very excited about the Frankfurt game next week, and I'm looking forward to chatting to him about it. Let's bring him in, the man, the myth. It's Mr. Stuart Slater. How are you, Stu?
Good evening, Russ. How are we all?
We are very well. How are we in the Slater household today?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, beautiful day.
Beautiful day, isn't it?
Had a 9-hole golf today. Had an MRI scan, day off today. So yeah, MRI scan for my hip. 9 holes.
It's all go.
Sorry.
All go in the Slater household.
It is indeed, Russ. Yes.
And obviously we are heading rapidly. Although I keep forgetting we've got Chelsea on Sunday, but I'm ignoring that for the time being. Obviously, we're rapidly going towards next Thursday, Eintracht Frankfurt, the first leg of the Europa League semi-final, which is still weird. And you must be excited about it, mate.
Oh dear, yeah. I think that's where we said about going to the London Stadium. All the troubles that we had over the years and all that. I mean, but to see that the last 2 games with Seville, Lyon, the atmosphere that has created 60,000 West Ham support, or 50 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then to reach that semi-final, that's where the club need to be and want to be, and and the fans want to be, and the players want to be. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean the Lyon game particularly. I mean the Sevilla game to some extent, but the Lyon game. I mean obviously we go and have our little roast dinner or whatever it is usually, and the last game I noticed the Lyon, the ambassadors were like you guys were it was like so chatty and you were so excited for the game. It was lovely to see, because we were, as fans, we're like buzzing, and it was like I walked in, it's like I've never heard you lot laughing and hollering so much. It was a real buzz around the whole club, that Lyon game particularly.
Yeah, it certainly was. The occasion, the atmosphere. I mean, there's European nights. The floodlights at Upton Park. I think the London Stadium floodlights over there, where everyone's having a half day. Looking forward to pushing on in the Europa League, and obviously to get the results and the performance that we have done. It's been really, really exciting, and one really looking forward to next week.
Oh yeah, and it was weird because I think obviously we with the Sevilla game, obviously because it was like the second leg, we knew what we had to do, and I think everyone was. I mean, the crowd were a bit different. The atmosphere was a bit different inside on that Lyon game, really nervy. So I don't think we knew what we were expected to do in the first leg, and but I think now with the Frankfurt game, obviously the history behind it as well, the fact that Frankfurt they're going to bring at least they're going to bring officially 3,000 fans.
Right. Yeah.
They apparently 15,000 turned up in the Camp Nou when they played Barcelona. So it's going to be an interesting atmosphere. It's going to be one of these sort of. I think it's going to be a bit needly in terms of the fans, but all the history around it, and obviously we Robbo, as we've spoken about before, Patsy Holland, Trevor Brooking, all those legends really. It sort of brings all that back up again, and I'm buzzing for it. Absolutely,
it certainly does. Right, obviously, nights like that, in that Upton Park on that bubbly pitch,
Yeah.
you know, you'll always remember those nights. And it's made for a hero that next week. I've already surpassed quarterfinals. Legendary status here. But I mean, anybody that's does well in the next semi-final, final, legendary status. It'll be for years and years to come. People can make themselves a real hero now.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right because there's certain generations, isn't it? So, like I mean, we obviously the ex-player nights, and obviously you get sort of the boys of the FA Cup 1980, the 75 lot, and obviously the boys of 86, you guys, and so yeah, hasn't been sort of one, so to speak, and sort of in my modern recollection. So it could be, the boys of 2022.
Yeah, I mean the Cardiff the final there
Yeah,
that obviously when was that 2000
206, yeah.
2006 yeah that was a great opportunity for people to leave a mark there, but this has really left a mark. I mean, what we said before, I mean, when you get 60,000, did we ever think that when we were Upton Park? We loved Upton Park, and everyone said it all, but when the owners and what everybody says about what the owners say, they did, promise European football in a certain time.
Yeah.
And, it's made for nights like that, and they've said that's what we're going to be doing, and we just gotta roll with it and enjoy it and enjoy it.
I mean, selling out London Stadium in record time for the Frankfurt game. I mean, there's been certain games this season, I think, where, the crowd, you felt that 60,000. I think the Sevilla game, I felt the 60,000 because obviously in that little, that box up the top, where I am, I could feel I could feel it sway under just everyone doing that West Ham is massive song, and I could feel my box swaying. It was ridiculous. And I think the Liverpool game this season, obviously you were saying, been going to home game for the last 15 years in the sort of the ambassador capacity. And, I know there's been some tricky times, because obviously you're facing the fans every day, really, every game. Yeah. But this season's been a bit of a breeze probably for you guys, hasn't it?
It certainly has. I mean, what they say, what you do on the pitch, it makes everything easier and happier. The fans are a lot more happier. You could be served in the corporate. Obviously, we do the ambassador all there, but you could be served a nightmare food or nightmare.
Yeah,
that's okay. We're winning. Just give me a couple of beers. And that shows you, Russ, that if the team are performing and doing well, then everything else is takes care of itself.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason why I think the fans, and it's you see like particularly away fans when we go into Lyon and Sevilla and stuff like that, and you see how they're reacting to David Moyes and what he's brought to the side as well, and it reminds me of sort of my early West Ham memories, sort of the early 90s, that togetherness in the team, and just. We've spoken about. We've got lots of the guys from the '92 promotion season coming up soon. That was my era. That was my era that season.
Yeah.
But it just seems there's that sort of hard-working attitude that any of you boys would have been playing on the pitch. You're going to give 100%, and where previously we might not have had a squad that we think would put that effort in. This team seems different. It seems like
That's it, David. I mean, that really should be a given. Really, I mean, obviously, giving as much as you can for the badge and the fans. They pay their money, they pay good money, they work hard, and they want to come and support their team. And the ultimate, obviously, people with the minimal that you should be giving is 100%. Working your socks off, and if you can play decent, attractive stuff and have a few flair players, but that's what David Moyes has instilled in the last sort of 2 years. Like we said before on here, Russ, the recruitment's been spot on.
Yeah.
Obviously, players want to play for the badge. They're working hard for one another. They're playing for the fans and the badge and the club. And whoever comes on fits in. And, it just epitomises, like just Dawson just recently, how many times has he got smacked?
He's literally defender, he is. He's a prop, and I think that's why we've taken to him, because he's that no nonsense defender that and but he's got a pass on him. He's got a pass in him. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? He can ping a
yeah,
ball.
yeah.
He's
I mean,
not
but
just a
he's
lumpy.
a proper defender. I mean, when you talk
Mm.
about defenders in those old days, but like you said, he can still play. He can still
Yeah,
play. But he puts his body on the line. He's brave. He senses danger. He fills in gaps. And for £2 million, so the recruitment there, Suchek, Kufel, Bowen, you can go through 4 Ls. Right, you turn around. The buys that we've brought in the last sort of couple of years have been outstanding. And
yeah,
character-wise, work hard, split with a bit of flair and ability as well. That's a recipe for good stuff. Good stuff.
definitely. And you're right. It's the character, isn't it? And I think, and I don't know about you, Stu, but it's almost like I feel at the moment we're at this sort of massive edge of a cliff at the moment, and we can look up, and I think there's a no, it's not a peak because I don't think we'll never get to the top of the mountain, but there's like, particularly in the summer, I think it's a huge summer for us. Obviously, with Mark retiring as well, and potential
Anything.
serious investment going, in terms of players in the summer. I think it's the start of something special. I really do with this lot.
Yeah, I mean, any rumours about what Mark might possibly be doing at the club? No, no one knows.
No,
Kept that
no.
quite
I mean,
close.
I can't see him leave. Personally, I think who was I talking to? I can't remember. It might be Minto, Scott, or someone like that. I would love Mark to, 'cause by the sounds of it, Mark wants to do. I don't think necessarily coaching is what he wants to do. I think he wants to be involved more in the sort of oversee. He wants to shape the future of West Ham and
Yeah,
get involved. And I could see him eventually, not like next year, but in a few years' time, maybe looking at being like a sporting director or something like that.
yeah,
But
sure.
obviously, he doesn't know the business side, so I could see him maybe being part of the recruitment team for a
Yeah, yeah,
while, understanding the
yeah, yeah,
mechanisms of football,
yeah.
and then going in. But yeah, it's going to be weird, isn't it? We're doing a show at the moment. I'm going to do it. I think it's next week, and I've looked and I've gone through every player that Mark's played with, over 200 players at his time at West Ham.
200 players, my
It's
goodness.
200. I think it's 225.
Yeah,
225. Yeah, Freddie Potts was the last one he's played with.
incredible.
225 players, and just
Incredible.
mental when you
Yeah.
think about it.
And what's that, over 15 years? Obviously,
18
years, 18,
seasons. Yeah,
18
2000. Well,
seasons,
yeah,
17.
pretty much. Yeah, but it's crazy, and obviously a lot of them, we see most weeks. Like Jimmy and Rufus and people like that. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
yeah, mental, and
yeah,
I think it's going to make it's going to be a huge sort of gap. But I think it's a great opportunity for someone like Declan to take that mantra on, because it
yeah,
must be sort
yeah,
of, although he's, you can see how much respect Deck has for Mark, having, but, Mark being the club captain, him being the team captain, next season, Deck's got
yeah.
the keys to the castle, isn't it? So,
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah, he's been an unbelievable servant for the club. Um, but with Deck doing what he did the other day, kissing the badge and all that, you ain't leaving, Declan. You
no,
can't be leaving after doing that.
no,
I
not
mean,
doing that.
God,
He didn't
yeah,
just kiss it; he snobbed it. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. I
and
mean,
and again, they see the building blocks that are happening, and I think we've also there's players that didn't want to come to us, now they want to come to us because
yeah,
we're an attractive side now. We're still the only London team in Europe. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's there's lots to do.
I mean, it is. I mean, it is, obviously with Mark's sort of farewell. I mean, what's that? 2 league home games, is it?
There's two
Two,
left, yeah. Arsenal
Chelsea,
and Man City,
Yeah,
innit?
Arsenal and City.
Yeah,
We've still got a lot to play for.
we still have,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
whereas if you hadn't got, I mean, whereas there's never really a season where we've been quite comfortable with nothing to play for. The
yeah,
last two games you would have got, Mark Noble would have started both those games, wouldn't he? Really, I would imagine for sentiment reasons, but because we've still got quite a lot to play for, obviously, there's a sort of, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, you could be anywhere really. I mean, obviously
yeah.
everyone's got to play each other, and we've got to play Chelsea, we've got to play Arsenal, and Tottenham have got to play Arsenal. There's so many
There's
permutations of
so many.
twists
I
that
mean,
are
I didn't
still.
realise that United have got like, is it they've got they had Liverpool. I think they got Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal in 10 days or something like that. And
So
obviously,
there's so many different permutations.
no, but no
There's
one
so much
wants
to play for.
exactly, and no one just wants to go on a run. It's
No.
like yesterday with Chelsea and Arsenal. That sort of puts the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit for that third, fourth spot. And yeah, but I'd take. I mean, at the end of the day, I'd take sixth. I think anything sixth or seventh this season. That's the first. That'll be the first time ever in our history we've had consecutive top six or top seven finishes in the top division ever.
And you've got to look at the power of the top three. Really, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. No one can compete with them. Sort of. Well, obviously United, but we're competing with the next sort of block. Which is what we should be now.
Yeah.
And that should be our goal now going forward. Obviously, you said first time in our history's top six back to back. That should be, the limit now. Really, that sort of scale that they've set their tone now, and that bar, and anything other than that, is not a successful season after that.
No, it's true. Yeah, we're almost becoming a victim of our success. Having these consecutive top six. So people are like, we're only finishing eighth.
We'd take that all day long, wouldn't we?
I'd have taken that all day long. I'd have taken a couple of boring, Alan Kirbishley or Sam Allardyce seasons after all the turbulent seasons we'd had. I'd have taken a bit of like that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm very confident of us winning the Europa League and going to the Champions League. And I don't think I'd retire. But being able to play the Champions League music at London Stadium, it's like wow! Just pressing the button, the champions.
Yeah. That's what we're all here for. That's what we're all West Ham fans for. That's what we're all aiming for and hoping for and praying for.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Right, let's get some questions. Right, as I said, it's slightly unscripted. It's just questions, and we'll see what we get. And obviously within reason. First one from Duke. Duke's a massive fan of yours, childhood hero of his. Right. Toughest player you came up against.
All right, Drew. A teammate of mine could be still. I mean, Julian Dix was always. I know people say he's legendary status, and he is legendary status. But even when he was 19, when he came from Birmingham, when he was a young kid and all that, and we were up against him in training, and my goodness, he would go through you massively. You had to play quick and early around him because obviously, if you had more than one or two touches, he's there, bang, cracks, bang. And that was before his knee. He was technically a really good player, but what he gets renowned for is his tough tackling, and he was brave as a lion. He put his body on the line like Dawson. Obviously brave as a lion, but hard as nails as well. He would be one of them that would snap you as well if you took too many touches. He would absolutely scissor kick snap you, and that was it. Learned me lesson early doors with him.
Of course.
Anytime I played against him, it was 1 and 2 touch because I think he crashed me once. And I thought, no, I don't want to get crashed again. Definitely not. In training.
Oh, I love it.
So he would. But I mean, obviously, when I played up in obviously played against him at Millwall, Terry Hurlock. He was a tough cookie as well. Nothing really phased him. And I used to think it was a compliment that, I loved that when I take somebody on and they foul me and, kick me. I'd love that. And I'd want the ball again.
Yeah.
But those two particular players, instead of possibly taking them on, I'm thinking I better lay this one off. Those two particular players really.
Yeah. But you must see, he said, but as you said, it's almost like a compliment that they want to hack you down because they know what you can do. So it's not like they're just going to hold you off. They want you down because if you're down, you're not running it past them.
I think players that take people on, are always classed as the technical players and probably not as brave as other people. But I always say sometimes, especially when I was playing that, I want to be brave and take these players on, and I want to get hit again, because I think that is a compliment, like you said, Russ. That you get kicked. Right, give me the ball again. I want to go again and take you on and get kicked again. And that takes a brave person to get absolutely kicked and smashed. But as I said, there were those two guys that were a limit because I think, hang on a minute, my career might have been over if I took too many touches with them two.
Yeah. It's so true. And talk while we're talking about tricky wingers. Obviously, we're seeing each other we see each other every week, but obviously we've got the event in May, haven't we? Which is great. Which is talking about tricky wingers. I said to Ian we should call it the tricky wingers night, and I think he's changed it. But obviously yourself and Waldy, obviously great hosts, and with Matty and Trevor Sinclair. So 4 wingers who would grace any team at West Ham. It's going to be a great night, isn't it? That's going to be good fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Russ. I mean, obviously, I've never really had sort of seen Trevor or Matty Everton at all. I see Wardy quite a bit, but I mean, as you said, all 4 of those, all those 3, my goodness, they were top players as well.
Top players,
and they would get, they would get fans on the edge of the seats and up off the seats. Those boys as well.
Yeah,
that's. You can't say too many players do that nowadays, really. So,
very true.
Yeah, be a good evening.
It's going to be a good evening. There's all the details are on there. Obviously, you can text Ian and at E13 events, and I think it's 20 quid. 20 quid to see 20 quid. How much you get out of that? That's it. But 20 quid. So that's gonna be a good night. Waldy's a great host, and he'll get everyone. He'll answer all the questions that no one wants to ask. And Trev's a little bit outspoken, so it'd be interesting to see. And Matty's just lovely, and like yourself. So it'd be I think it's a really, and it's quite nice because it's not like. No disrespect, but it's not like the boys of '86. It's 4 people from different eras, so to speak. So it's really, I think, it'll be really interesting. And also, Canning Town Len's got all his pictures there. He's always paintings. They're brilliant. So make sure you check that out.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be good fun. Good fun. Stuart, see, Duke's gonna get a ticket. You see, Duke's gonna get a ticket just to meet you. Duke, if you get a ticket, I'll make sure that you get a picture with Slates. There we go.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
introduce yourself, Duke.
Yeah. Well, he ain't shy coming forward. Don't worry about that, Don't worry about that. Big lad, you won't miss him. Right, let's see what we got here. From Stephen, what game do you think you play? Oh, he always gets this question, but what game do you reckon you play? The Everton game or the Sheffield United game?
I think Stephen must know me because obviously to bring that Sheffield United game out, I think the Sheffield United game was my better game. Yeah, obviously we won 5-0. It was in the evening. Jimmy Quinn got a hat trick, and he still to this day can't believe that he got a hat trick and didn't get man of the match. I got man of the match because I set 4 up, didn't score, but I think Chris Wilder was the right back. I'm sure it was. Yeah,
he was. Yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
And when he shook my hand at the end of the game because he was playing right back, I was playing left back, and he said, "Son, you were great today." He said, "That's the closest I've got all night to you, shaking your hand." So that was a real compliment for me. But because the Everton, I think, Russ, we spoke about it on there before, that they were the top team.
They were.
In the 90s. They had a great team. Howard Kendall's teams were winning trophies left, right and centre. And we were in the second division at the time, the second tier football, going for promotion. And, Everton were the top team. And the quarterfinals, Upton Park, on Sky TV when Sky were just starting to come. And I had a game in my life. I did have a game in my life, but because it was on Sky TV, there was no other game on Monday night. Tuesday and Wednesday, when I obviously scored the winner and we won the game, it was all about me. Tuesday, there was no other football on Tuesday and Wednesday. Had it been the weekend, Saturday, I might have got a little bit in the press Sunday, maybe a little bit, but because it was the only game on Monday night, Tuesday and Wednesday, the press were just all over that game and all over me. And I think where people say to me, that was your best game. I have lived off that game for a long time. But I think the Sheffield United game, I probably had, I think match and shoot were always doing your markings at that time. And usually, generally, whoever was marking weren't a bad judge at the time. And both of them gave me 10 out of 10, and there weren't many 10s given at that time. So, I had a good game that one, and I think it would have been that one. Yeah,
and don't worry. I mean, Jimmy's, he lives with the fact that he saved Frank Lampard's penalty. Well, he don't like to talk. He don't like to talk about it, but
he saved it in goal. Was he?
I think he was in goal.
Yeah,
it was like the other days. I don't like to talk about it, Russ, but It was a cold night. The wind going over the ship. Literally spent 20 minutes setting
Yeah,
this penalty save. It was
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
And then telling me afterwards that he shouldn't have actually been given because the referee like waved the flag, like the fourth official, the linesman,
Yeah,
that he encroached or something like that. But the ref just waved it off anyway. Um,
he's a great lad, Jimmy.
oh, yeah, love Jim. Speaking of goalkeepers, who did you prefer playing between the sticks, Ludo
Who's
or
that?
Parksy
Oh my goodness,
from
that's a
Happy Amaret?
real happy.
Oh,
That is a tough question. I I was fortunate to play with both, like you say, but that's a tough question, and that's a great question. I saw Parksy when he was right at the end of his
yeah,
career.
yeah,
Um, I was a young schoolboy watching him do his stuff. He was immense. He was brilliant. Um, when we were shooting, when I obviously came on at 85, I was an apprentice at 85, and there were times when I trained with the first team and you'd do some shooting practices. Both were like that, Ludo and Phil. They just made the goal so small. They were
yeah,
such big presence that you just couldn't. You think, hang on a minute, I'm gonna have to bend it outside the post by about 5 foot to bend it in to maybe get in. That's how big they were. They made it. Um, yeah, so I saw Phil right at the end of his career. So, and he was still brilliant. I remember the
yeah,
game that we played in the FA Cup, fifth round, Charlton, yeah, at Crystal Palace.
yeah. I think so.
I
Yeah,
scored my debut goal there, FA Cup. But Parks, he was 38, and he won the game on his own. We
yeah,
won it 1-0. We got Wardy sent off, but he everything. Whereas Ludo, when he first came over, I roomed with Ludo. I was the first person, young lad, foreigner,
lovely. Yeah,
and so I saw the first 4 or 5 years, and he, like Parks, it was just immense as well.
yeah.
Um, yeah, if I had to, yeah, I think
It's
he's very
it's all for
difficult.
horses for courses, though, isn't it? It's like because I think Park. I mean, that's always one of the debates, isn't it? I mean, Parks was Phil Parks. Obviously, I never saw Phil play, but I've heard of it, or I've seen footage and spoken to him and stuff like that. Whereas Ludo was like the first goalkeeper I saw, and he was like so different from Phil Parks. It was like he was imposing, but in a different way, in a more athletic. That's no slight on Parksy, but
No, no,
he's like
yeah,
he was like the first sort of modern day
absolutely.
goalkeeper, weren't he? Ludo
Yeah,
was.
running, he was just unbelievable. He was always up the front, Ludo, whether it was short distance, long distance, medium distance. As you said, Russ, you hit the nail right in the head. He was, but Parksy, my goodness, he was the one that made the goal look really, really small. And you
Yeah,
needed to bend the ball 5 yards outside the post to have a chance to bend it in. Um, yeah, they were they weren't a preference there really. I mean, they were just. I was so blessed to play with both, who were absolutely legends. When we talk about legends, Russ, it's quite branded quite cheaply, really. But those two would be right up there in goalkeepers for West Ham United Football Club.
I think
And
you're right. I think you're right with the word legends. I think for me it was, as you said, we do sort of say maybe because like the way. Well, I think the fact is we've created legends because we haven't won anything in the last 40 odd years, and so there's certain players who maybe play and the way the foot. I mean, who did we have? I can't remember who it was. It might have been Gailey or someone like that, Rio Region or someone like that. And I think he was at West Ham for 11, 12 years, and 10 years of those 11 were someone's testimonial year. And you would normally have these players. Will now if we have a player for 3, 4, 5 years, they're a
yeah,
legend. I mean, obviously, we had Carlos Tevez come on the pitch at half time before the game on Sunday. Carlos only really turned up the last 6 games at West Ham, but he's this cult hero. He's like a
yeah,
legend.
yeah,
He's like, well,
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah,
there's
yeah.
someone like
But
I don't
I
know.
would class, like you said, I would class somebody a legend that obviously either won something or played. I mean, both parts he played
Yeah.
500. Would he play 500 games?
Oh, must be. Yeah.
Ludo must have played 300, 400 games as well. I mean, that's when you're legendary status. When you've played 400, 500 games for a club or won something, or been a top goal scorer for the whole season,
Yeah.
or scored so many goals. I think that's when you you get branded into the legendary status.
Yeah, I mean, I think Parks is about 400. I think 440. I'm just looking at 440. I think Ludo's about 340. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you're looking at same as I'm just looking at the P's because obviously I'm looking at P. So you
yeah,
look at
yeah.
people like Georgie,
Georgie P.
and people like that, and Steve Potts, and
Yeah, yeah,
and Jeff Pike, and there's these sort of, as you said, I think there's and I totally agree. I think the word legend gets sort of, but I think that's just because it gets cheapened by it's used in like modern day vernacular. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
yeah,
he's a
yeah,
legend. Oh, you're right, legend.
yeah.
It's like, whereas it rolls off the tongue, where actually
Yeah, just
it's,
imagine though, right? Obviously, when you look at it, when you come through the ranks, or when you get to play 350 games for one club, especially
yeah,
West Ham, you go, hang on a minute, that puts you. I would say that puts you up into the sort of legendary status.
mm.
Really, 350 games plus, at least. You know, that's some. Just to play once. Well, now that we're on the other side
You
and
should have
we're
gone.
watching,
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say, right, I don't know, pay like at least, I don't know, 179, and
yeah.
then
No, I didn't. I mean, I said, had I, obviously, I need to score more goals as well. But look at Tony Cotti, McAvenny. I mean, that season,
yeah,
the 85. That was a, people bar branded there, but we were so close to winning the title there. Then you got the 80 team, the 75 team. Obviously cup winners. Brian Deere and all that, and then obviously Bobby and the Billy Bonds, Trevor Broughton, all the Frankie,
mm.
Frankie Lampard Senior, all those guys that have played so many hundreds of games, and we talk about Mark Noble, brilliant story, the 18 seasons at the club and
Mm.
fantastic, but like you said, I probably in my era, I reckon I played with at least six players that played 13, 14 years as well.
Yeah, yeah,
6 or 7 players.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I suppose you said, yeah. I mean, the fluidity of football now. It's literally, if you get same as a manager. If you get a manager for more than 3 or 4 seasons, they've done well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Nowadays, whereas you said, Lyle, Greenwood, you had all these managers for years and years and years, and it's the same with the football players. And as you said, someone like Mark Noble is an exception to the rule. Hopefully, it won't be because I think I'd love Declan Rice to do the same thing, but
yeah, we would love that. Yeah,
I
love
think
that.
we all would, but I don't think it's going to happen. But anyway, but that's just the modern day football, isn't it? But
But Ross,
speaking of,
yeah,
go on.
sorry.
No, you
Sorry,
carry on, man.
I think that team, as I said, the team that we've got at the minute. I mean, obviously, there's a structure to that team at the minute that we've got, and you go, hang on a minute, because we've been quite successful. I think hopefully you can keep that team together. Yes, they're going to have a few tweaks and a few players coming in, but generally, that team over the
Yeah,
last 10 seasons has picked itself really a lot of the time, isn't it? The 14, 15 boys that
and I totally agree. And I think also, you think, looking forward into the future, what I think, it was things like a solid back four and things that you can work on for many, many years. You say, look at Zuma's 26, 27. He's got a good 5 years
Mhm,
probably,
mhm,
at the
mhm.
top flight. I mean, if he brings in a younger, maybe not Diop. I think he might. I think I've got a feeling we might have seen Diop in the last time in a West Ham shirt. In all honesty, I think he might go in the summer. But if they got in someone of, I don't know, who's a 26, 27-year-old, that partnership could be a partnership for the next 5, 6 years. Ben Johnson on the right wing, on the right back
Yeah,
position,
yeah,
and then you're looking at the goalkeeper, whether it is
mhm.
Areola, whether it is Nick Pope or whether they're going to, or
Yeah,
Sam
yeah,
Johnson, or there's a nucleus there which could be the same, and then Declan Rice, and so it could be people that you could have a settled side, and then just add to it and add to the
yeah, yeah,
squad and
yeah,
add to
yeah.
the
Like,
ability,
like
and
we have done, yeah.
yeah, it'd be amazing, Right, right, let's get some more questions. Right, what we got here? Let's. What was Billy Bonds like? We spoke about Billy. What was he like? Says Anton.
Anton. Okay, yeah. What words have not described Billy Bonds that we have not anyone's not used? You name them all.
Yeah,
Um, what was Billy Bonds like? He was a proper man's man.
yeah,
Um, claret and blue, obviously, through and through. Hard as nails. Um, honest,
mm,
reliable. Had your back. Wanted good characters. He wanted, obviously, he'd tell you if you're doing something out of order.
yeah.
and demanding. The demand he had this demand. You've got to put a shift in. You've got to, but he'd look after it. But everything that's been said about Bill is more. Yeah, yeah, you can't really describe it because he was a proper person, proper gentleman, proper hard person. But you could go and talk to him, you could relate to him. Um, he was no big time Charlie. Um, yeah, so everyone looked up to him. He was one of them. He was a family man as well. My recollection of him when I was a young kid, apprentice, and he was playing in the first team, was everybody would go and have a few beers after the game and go and see their family. Bill, all he would do was have a crate of 4 beers under his arm, and he'll go straight off after the
Yeah,
game and back to his family. And quiet man, fair man, honest man. Um, yeah, truly an inspiration person, and I've got so much respect and admiration for him, for not only as a player but the manager, but as a friend. I would class him as a friend as well, and a father figure at the time. You know,
yeah,
he
top
was
man.
just an incredible person. He is an incredible person,
Yeah.
but incredible person for West Ham. All the years they gave.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, as you said, it just and that sort of the fact, someone who was so, he would cross that line and would be a not a totally different person, but he would, after he was in the changing room, just want to go home to his family,
Yeah,
and that shows how much, obviously, so much so that he missed the last game at the bowling, didn't he? He turned
yeah,
around and came
yeah.
back.
A
What was
humble
his name?
man. I mean, I missed that one. The humble, really very humble. I mean, for
Yes.
what he achieved and what he's done, and he's, you got his stand named after him. I don't know how many appearances, the record amount of appearances, but he's never ever said, look, who am I? Billy Bonds. I play for West Ham. He would. That would be his
Yeah,
word.
yeah,
If
exactly.
he, absolutely.
Well, I mean, you saw what he meant to him, obviously, when the stand was named after him, and obviously Alv did the PA, and obviously all the players, sort of give him the guard of honour, and he was just, for a man who was so didn't even show any emotion. I remember when I went up in the 92-93 season. I don't remember him crying or anything, but he was obviously sobbing, just getting this accolade and just seeing what the fans meant to him and stuff, and what he meant to the fans, and it was a lovely moment,
I think.
Which
I think, as I said, every I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong here, but I mean, everybody that I played with, I think, is just glowing about Billy, the
yeah,
admiration, the respect. That's the thing, the admiration, the respect that everyone had for him. I don't think there's not one person who played with him or played under him, even as a manager, would not say that. I know Julian Dixie. Did he? They had a little bit of a falling out, a little bit. I
a
mean,
little
you do have
bit, but
falling
but I
outs,
mean
but I mean,
he still he still speaks about how much he respected Bill and
yeah,
um and and uh yeah, I just think they clashed a little bit. That was
yeah,
all, I think.
yeah,
But
yeah.
as I said, you can't be, not everyone's
No,
friendly with everyone on the pitch all the time, are
no,
you? So
no, yeah.
it's the nature of football. From Kent Hammers, lovely Kent Hammers. What did it feel like coming back to West Ham, playing for Watford and Ipswich? I think it was Stuart.
Yes, I can remember. Yeah, that a couple of times. Well, unfortunately for me, I had my best time at West Ham. Went to Celtic, started developing my Achilles even in the first year. It was the last year West Ham actually. Started developing Achilles problems because I ran on my toes, and obviously it caused a lot of calf problems, Achilles problems. So went to Celtic, came back, went to Ipswich, and I was still never the player. So I think it took me a couple of years before I ended up coming back to West Ham playing for Ipswich. Um, and because I think we were West Ham was successful, they got the promotion in the 92-93 season. Harry then took over. I think there was a new sort of blend, and
Yeah,
um, yeah, it was quite eerie because you think 11, 12 years of age, my club, everyone calls it your club when you come through the ranks, albeit I didn't live close like some of the other boys like Alan Dickens, Tony Gotti, Georgie Parrish, but I was sort of on that Suffolk and Essex border. And you come through the ranks, you come through the schoolboys, and you feel, hang on a minute, that's a hard way. That's a
yeah,
real hard way of getting getting through to the system. So you think, you've done all that. Well, you've not been brought to come into, and then when you leave, and I think I've made it quite clear that obviously, I was young, naive, and I was sort of railroaded to leave the club at the time. I had a 4-year deal, and I put my pen in the hand, and obviously the agent at the time said, no, let's wait for them to come back, and obviously I didn't sign it, and that the rest is history. But to come back within a couple of years and then not be the same sort of player as prior to 2 years ago was quite strange, and I felt that was sort of where my career was sort of going downhill a little bit. Obviously, I was injured. You lose a little bit of pace, you lose muscle wastage. You have 12, 14 weeks out at Celtic, 12, 14 weeks out of the first season at Ipswich, then you come to West Ham again. And it was nice, but I was 24, 20. I should have been in my prime. I should have been absolute running rings round whoever I was playing with, because at 17 to 22, that was what I was doing quite well. But I was never the sort of player then. But it was always good to go back to West Ham. I would have liked to put on a show for the fans. Because hopefully, I wanted them to maybe buy me back, because that was, I can remember, I think I told you, Russ, when I left Celtic, or when I was leaving Celtic, I then binned my agent, and my brother-in-law helped me out a little bit, and we made the phone call to Harry Redknapp about coming back. That was a year and a bit later, 14 months. Bill had just left, obviously, I think. And I think the reply that Harry Redknapp said to my brother-in-law was like, "We've just got Dixie back. We've just got somebody else back." He said, "If I bring you back, I've got to bring Trevor Brooking back, and everybody else back."
Yeah, because it would have been TC as well. TC Junior would have come back. Yeah.
So I was disappointed with that, but I was hoping that if I was to do quite well, there was a possibility that I could have another spell at the club, because obviously I didn't want to leave at the time.
Of course. Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense, man. Right, there's loads of questions. Let's get through some. Right. Did you have any superstition or routines or lucky item before a match?
My superstition from home was to do 500 keepy uppies before.
Fuck off.
Yeah, 500 keepy uppies, which was about 4 minutes.
Okay.
To get your feet, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. So I'd do it in the old little gym before. I don't know if you ever went up to that little gym before.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It was a small, run-down part of the gym, but obviously before you went out and do the warm up on the pitch, I'd go in there for 5-10 minutes and just get a feel for the ball, because that was what I was judged on. Russ, to be honest, and so I would try and do 400 or 500 at least every home game. Away game was a little bit different, because obviously
only 300.
I think we only had 3 balls. So that's what the boys get used to saying. But need a ball for you all the time. We didn't have as many balls when we went away from home. So it was just getting a feel of the ball as much as I could, really, and get me touch going.
Yeah, that's good, man. Happy Emirates on one. She loves you. What advice would you give to our youth academy looking to break through to the first team? Anything you would advise them not to do? Because obviously you came through the ranks. Obviously we've got a hell of a lot of kids coming through, all under the stewardship of likes of Steve Potts and Kevin Keane and Kenny and all that lot. Yeah, what advice would you give the kids?
Well, I had 5 years doing the academy in 2001 to 2006.
Yeah, of course.
I loved it. I loved coming back, and I really, really enjoyed it. Never, obviously, work hard is the most important thing. Get an education. Massive education is important, because obviously, the pitfalls of coming through the academy is a lot harder even now. With the money that's in the game and the opportunities that we have now to maybe purchase players. In our day, when we were coming through the ranks, we had to produce players to survive.
Yeah.
So what I would say to obviously players that are coming through, obviously work hard, enjoy your life, because sometimes when you do, if you don't make it, um, you think, I've trained 3-4 nights a week,
Mm.
played at weekends, and given all my early life
Yeah.
to football. Sometimes you've got to let go of it. Football's great, and you want that person to be driven, or the people to be driven, but you also got to enjoy you can't get those years back, the youth,
No.
the teenage years, so enjoy it, work hard, but also get an education, and have people that you know trust you for right decisions. I know there are agents that people that get into young kids now, even still
Yeah.
now, but yeah, if if you're going to get an opportunity, I know parents are possibly swayed on Arsenal. That was happening in my case. Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Man City. Even when I was doing the academy in 2001 to 6, I'd get parents phoning me up and saying, "Look, we've got Chelsea after us, we've got Arsenal after us.
Mm.
Look, if you're good enough at this club, they'll give you an opportunity. Yes, it
Yeah.
might be a little bit more time, maybe another year, 2 years, because obviously there's more money in the game. But yeah, don't be swayed by big teams.
Mm.
I would always give not saying that we're not a big team now, we're a big team,
Well, I
but
know what you mean. I know what you
I
mean.
still think, when we've got Kevin Keane, we've got Potsy, we've got Mark Robson, we've got Kenny Brown, like you said, if they identify somebody with the DNA of a West Ham young boy,
Mm.
they will get through eventually.
Yeah.
They might have to go on loan, they might have to go somewhere, but yeah, just listen, learn, work hard, enjoy being a youngster as well, and don't be swayed by bigger clubs.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think actually, and again, that's sort of going. And we had Tony Carr on a couple of weeks ago, and we was talking
Okay.
to him, and he was and Tony was saying how, and we were talking, as you said, talking about Kenny and Kevin, and even fucking Jimmy's got a job here somehow, um, goalkeeper consultant or some bollocks like
So,
that. Fuck those. Um, but I was saying, and I said, obviously when Tony left originally, then I think, and then you look at the sort of and then you've got sort of the way it all worked, and Pellegrini coming in, and it lost its way a little bit, and I think with Moisey coming back and getting a lot of the old boys back in, it sort of got itself back in line with, as you said, finding the West Ham DNA players, because
yeah, yeah.
there is a certain type of player, and it's
Well, it's no coincidence that the 23s and the 18s are doing
no,
really well, aren't they? I
and
mean,
the 15s won the Floodlit Cup, or whatever it
yeah,
was yesterday,
yeah.
not
I mean, so
Phillips
they're all
yesterday.
good people, good coaches, good people, good West Ham people. They are,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's you do need that, and
Mm.
hopefully we're going to reap the rewards with the results that the teams are getting are fantastic.
Definitely, no, I definitely agree. And as you said, there's a nice conveyor belt coming along, and we might need one. We might need a Lessay, for the
Yeah.
next few games. So that'll be good. And the boy Ashby, I like. Right, from Mark. He's a fountain of knowledge. Not the obvious Everton memory, but I was at Goodison when he put us one up in 88, 89. Did relegation actually help your progress at West Ham, Stuart?
Um,
Oh, good question,
yeah,
Mark.
another good question. Really good question. It possibly did.
Mm,
I don't know. When did there was an opportunity there for, like we touched on before, younger players coming through the academy that were given a chance.
yeah,
Obviously, nowadays relegation. If any team gets relegated like Fulham, I mean they kept hold of their squad.
yeah,
In our days, obviously, there wasn't too many people leaving at the time, but there were small squads.
mm,
Um, Small squads, small playing staff. Um, had we stayed up, there might have been a potential to get a couple more players in.
yeah.
I think we was that the year that we brought Dave Kelly and
Yeah,
Alan
it would
Knight.
have been. Yeah, it would have been.
We
Yeah,
bought a
yeah,
few. That
yeah,
was big money. I mean, 600,000 at a time was a lot of money. I think that we
yeah.
paid for
Dave Kelly
Dave
was
Kelly.
in. Yeah, Dave Kelly would have been there.
Um,
Definitely.
and So I think had we stayed up, there might have been a little bit more money for the
Yeah,
club to go out and recruit. But when I had obviously John Lard at the time, believing in me. He believed in me. He's so grateful. God bless him. I miss him. But he was massive for my development. He saw me when I was 13, 14, and he believed in me even then, and that's amazing to have even nowadays that, you see a manager believe in a 14-year-old and gave me an opportunity and trusted in me. And when he did leave, I think that might have been the season when Lou came in. I'd already made a few games, and I think Lou came in and wanted to change it about a little bit, get rid of the old guard, so to speak, or dare I say it, or have different training methods that obviously some of the older players weren't used to. But he believed in the youth, and and obviously I got an opportunity, and he really took to me, and I was grateful for Lou as well. So
yeah, exactly. Makes perfect sense. Right, let's have a look. Come on, let's get a few more. Let's get some good ones. What was your favourite footballer's nickname? Does it be one size fits all? That's a good one. One size fits all. That's a good one. I like that one.
One size fits all.
One size fits one size. Call him one size.
My favourite football nickname.
Yeah, like throughout your time at throughout obviously your career, obviously footballers, you got ever got funny nicknames? Was there any that you remember that you go, oh, that was funny?
Not really. I mean, for me, I got called Chopper, which Chopper. At WESTHAM, everybody knows me as Chopper, and Paul Hilton gave it to me. Paul was probably one of the funniest guys at the club at the time, and we were man to man keepball, and I was paired against him, and I wasn't really renowned for my tackling. I was renowned for what I did with the ball.
Yeah.
So I was playing against this 6'4" Northern Lancashire guy, quite tough cookie, and he's obviously took me down once or twice. So I thought, hang on, next time he gets the ball, I'm going to chop him down.
Yeah.
And I scissored him like left, right. And he's got up and he's gone, what are you doing? You're not renowned for doing that. You just chop me. And my nickname stayed for Chopper. And, for somebody, that wasn't a tackler or renowned for that, that was probably
Chopper.
one of the, obviously more relative to me. I mean, Dixie, what was Dixie?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's
Stretch, Stretch.
Stretch,
Alvin Martin, Stretch.
And Reg.
Gailey, Reggie, who else we got there?
I mean, most people just added like whatever it was, and then like E at the end. So Parksy, it was always like that was the obvious. Debs, yeah. I mean, it's like Stag. Stags. I like Stag. I think Stag's a good one.
Who else? I don't know why, but Paul McStay got called the Hat.
The Hat.
Paul McStay. I mean, obviously, I know it's a West Ham joke, but Paul McStay was an absolute Celtic legend. Absolutely Celtic legend. Very humble guy as well, but he got called the Hat. I still don't know to this day, unless someone Googles for me why he was called the Hat. That was quite a strange.
What was the best one I've heard so far of the 100 or so ex-players we've had on the channel is, I think it was Zamora. And Zamora, they would call Anton Ferdinand. It was either, I think he's called him free week, because basically whatever Rio had hairstyle, he'd get 3 weeks later. So they call him 3 week. It's something like 3 week off. Yeah,
like that,
so they always called him.
We
3
weren't that original when we were, like you said, right? It was Potsy.
Yeah, exactly.
Daily.
Mad Dog.
Mad
But then
Dog,
that was sort of, that goes without saying, doesn't it?
Mad Dog,
Monksy,
Mad Dog. Yeah, I don't know why he gets called Mad Dog. Do you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Although I think the first time I interviewed him, he said to me, right, Russ, right, before we start, ask me how the gardening's going. And basically, he'd like stuck his hands in like mud to show he was doing gardening, and then he was eating a Bono like dog biscuit throughout the whole thing. But I didn't clock until the end. It was like, yeah.
Have you had him back on the show lately?
I tell you what, we had him. I tell you when we had him. We did a quiz. We should do some of those again. It was good fun. We did like charity quiz night, and we had I tell you, we had Kevin Keane, Jimmy Walker. I think
Really?
we had I think we had Sinks, and we had Jonesy,
Okay.
and it was like Wheel of Fortune, but West Ham players. And so it was, yeah. So it's like I have an A, and like and it was really good. And obviously, I think Kev won because Kev's like the master of all quiz
Yeah.
nights or whatever
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Jonesy phones me up next night, wants another go. So I think I ended up getting. I think we ended up getting. I don't remember who it was. It was definitely Tim Breaker. So it was the robot. It was or the machine, whatever we called him. Then it was Jonesy and Mad Dog. And Mad Dog phoned me up just before, and he says, "Do you want sensible Martin, or do you want Mad Dog Martin?" I said, "Let's have Mad Dog Martin." I wish I'd had sensible Martin because he literally he just literally stared at the webcam for like 10 minutes. Hello, not getting a signal. It's like absolutely useless. I love him though. He's so funny. Right, let's get some more and then we'll let you go, man. Who? Oh, tough one. Tough ones. Who was the best young talent you ever saw at the club? Let's say from a coaching perspective, because obviously you're the academy.
So when I was a coach, we had a guy. I mean, I brought him through a couple of years. Billy Knott at the time. He didn't make it at West Ham, but he played Bradford and a little bit lower league. But at that time, my remit was obviously. So I was just a coach. So Tony Khan, there was Jimmy Hampson, Jimmy Tyndall, Paul Heffer, all sort of hierarchy people and all that. They said to me, like, this is my first year coaching. I was 31. I took the 9 to 10s. Billy Knott, every club wants him.
Yeah.
So this kid, bearing in mind playing 7-side, he's your captain. He takes corners. He takes free kicks. He takes whatever he wants. He gets. He plays every minute. He don't get subbed. He don't get dropped. I'm like, really? We're doing this to annoy it? Not. And yeah, they saw a talent in him. And I mean, obviously, if we Google him now, he did leave us in the lurch a little bit, but he was one of those that if he was advised rightly, I would pretty sure he would have come through the club, definitely.
Yeah. Billy Knott. Yes, he's playing now for Great Wakering Rovers.
So Bradford, he had some clubs.
Bradford. He started off at Sunderland. Then he went on loan to AFC Wimbledon, Woking, Wickham, Port Vale. Then went to Bradford for a couple of years. Then Gillingham. Then Lincoln City. Then Rochdale. Then he went to Concord Rangers, Chelmsford, Bowes and Pitsea, Billericay, Canvey, and then Great Wakeham.
That might tell you a few things about him, maybe the club days. Bless him.
He's gone back. He's gone back to Roost, hasn't he? So he's almost like he's gone. He's done sort of. Then he's done Essex, sort of, non-league, isn't he?
As a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, he had a lot. He had the lot. He could win games on his own.
Yeah. Brilliant. Love it. Right, a few more. Okay, we've got the youngest. Who was the best old talent you ever saw? Right, let's say let's have a bit of fun. Drinking. Who's the best one out on a night out?
What, West Ham or anywhere?
Yeah. Right, let's say West Ham and anywhere, if anywhere's better.
Drinking. We had quite sensible pros. I mean,
do you know what? Who else said that? Someone else said that they were very sensible. It's going to really annoy me that we interviewed someone else.
You've got Alvin. You've got Gailey, you've got Dev, you had Parks.
Robbo, that was it, Robbo. Robbo said all that lot were really sensible. He was the only one who wasn't single, and someone else.
We'd have to say probably Bish, though. Bish was quite the... Dare I say it, what a player, what a person, what a man. But I think he liked... we did like a few beers and all that. Yeah. So he was quite a... Frankie Boy. Yeah. Frankie Boy was a...
Did you ever partake in one of his nights out to Stringfellows?
I was only 16 at the time, so I probably would have never made it if I went out with. No one would have made it.
Who was it? Was it? I think it was Bish, or it might be Morley, or someone like that. Was talking about Ludo on a night out, and it was the first night out. If it was the first Christmas party, and obviously he didn't understand what was going on, and they had to go to some shop, some fancy dress shop in Chadwell Heath, and all that was left was a medium-sized sailor's outfit or something like that. And then I think Frank he'd got the limos in, and but he had to go. Obviously, there's no mobile phones, so I think they had to drop off Ludo to his house to tell his wife he weren't coming home, but dressed as his sailor. And but
I am.
I love those stories, man.
Yeah, as I said, I am. When I obviously moved around a little bit, I mean, when I went to Ipswich at that time it was a drinking culture
Yeah,
in the football. You know, you had to go out and have a few beers to socialise and get to know your teammates, because if you didn't do that, then you were a bit of an outcast.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
lucky I came through the ranks at West Ham, so there wasn't, and we had good pros. Not saying that the pros weren't good elsewhere,
I know what you
but
mean.
they were different. And yeah, when I moved to Ipswich, there was a culture there that, team bonding. Let's go out. Let's have a few drinks and bond. But a couple of times there, Russ, my goodness, um, I learnt my lesson after first few weeks. I went out one time and we went out and we were only going to have a couple of beers, and we ended up from 1 o'clock, and I my limit was 4 or 5 pints. I couldn't drink at all to save my life, but I stayed
Yeah,
out until about 6, 7 o'clock. The rest was staying out, but I got hammered. So that next week, obviously the boys were out again, and obviously I went through the town of Ipswich, and I was just looking, getting some presents and all that for a birthday, and the boys are saying, "Come on," they called me Sammy there. I don't know what they called me, Sammy. Yeah, come on. I said, "No, not after last week." And I said, "It's a Friday." It was a Friday before a game. There was a couple of boys drinking a couple of beers and a game, and so I went in. I said, "Look, I'm not drinking. I'll have a water or a Coke." And I ended up having a Coke, I think it was. And then I left them after 10 minutes, just like that.
yeah.
Over the weekend, we played the game. I think we did okay. But on the Monday morning, John was the manager at Ipswich at the time, and John Lyle said to us, um, the police had come in, and he wanted to know all the boys, 6 boys that were in the pub that time on the Friday, because the alibi of somebody that was doing um, he obviously committed the robbery. His alibi that he was in the pub with David Linney, Stuart Slater, Chrissy Grimer, and all that. So John was going, "Hang on a minute, the police are in here. What are you doing in a?" We all got fined. I
Oh,
got fined a week's wages. The other boys got fined
for
2 weeks' wages, but
glass of
I got
Coke.
fined thousands of pounds for half a Coke. Half
That's
a
that. That's
Coca-Cola.
reminiscent of the famous story, the Blackpool game with a Stag and Bobby Moore and Clyde Best, and they'd gone to. Robert, was it Stag or someone told me the story, and obviously they'd gone and they'd had that the game was going to get called off. It was, so they went out on a night out and it didn't get called off, and they lost 4-5-0. Kent will tell me the score. And Clyde Best got fined, but he had a Diet Coke or something like that. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like
that's it.
absolutely brilliant. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it, man. Right, let's have two more and then we're done. They're both going to be from Happy and Right. Okay. Who's your favourite player in the squad, the current squad? Who do you like most?
Oh, there's so many
There's a
now.
lot in
There's
there,
so
yeah.
many. There's so many. I mean, obviously, if you're going to go for the attacking one, I mean, obviously, everyone knows what Declan Rice. I'm not going to say Declan Rice because we
Yeah.
all know that he's an incredible talent to the squad. But I mean, what Bowen's done is just been short of remarkable. His
Mm.
assists, his goals, his energy, his work rate, his ability. I think sort of, as a wide player like I was, you can see
Yeah.
we're a different team when we've got him in. And defensively, he does all that sort of work. The character, good character. Yeah, he's probably up there. That if we haven't got him in our team, we look a little bit different, and a little
Yeah.
bit lacking ideas and opportunities. But yeah, so I would say he's been a fantastic acquisition and a
No.
great 2 seasons. Fantastic. He's adapted so well from the championship. Can't praise him enough.
Definitely. Definitely, man. And the last one, we'll do a nice one. What players or player in particular inspired you as a young apprentice at West Ham? Oh,
So I'm going to say my old teammates, my ambassador old boys, Alan Dickens and Georgie Paris.
oh,
The reason being, obviously, young lad, apprentice. So when the game's finished at Upton Park, we're waiting to wash the floors or
mm,
sweep, do the bathrooms. And there was only a few of us at the time. I think there was only 9 of us in 2 years. Paul Ince was the second year, and
yeah,
so there was 9 apprentices for the whole 2 seasons. So there was a lot of jobs to do. And after a game, Saturday or midweek game, you know, right, boys, you can come in, go and do your jobs and all that. We're finished with them. Obviously, Nick McGiven or Ronnie boys would say that. And had we won, it was great. Had we got beat, we weren't so good. You kept your head down. But
Yeah.
Georgie Paris and Alan Dickens would always say, son, you know, I was a young boy, 3 years older than me, 4 years older than me, or whoever, come and sit down, have a sit down. I'm like, no, we can't do that. We've got to do what? No,
Do
come
a
and sit
job.
down. What do you think about the game? How did you think I played? And you go, hang on, this is a first team player, you know, saying that. So yeah, they were good boys. They were great lads. So, but I mean, bless Ray Stewart was brilliant for me.
Mm.
Alvin, Gailey, you name them. All the senior players were brilliant. But Ray was brilliant as well. Ray Stewart was fantastic for me.
Yeah.
Very blessed to have them as my teammates, looking out for a young lad, but also now as friends. So yeah,
Yeah.
really blessed to have them.
Yeah, sweet. They're very, very sweet. Last one because one just popped out because it's another WHU58. On a 7-day period, how was training practice scheduled in your playing days? So if you had a game on a Saturday, how would your week look?
Yeah. This is where the sports sciences come right into it. I mean, we'd normally get the Sunday off,
Yeah,
no recovery or anything like that. Recovery wasn't in there, but depending on the result, Monday was always hard,
yeah,
very hard. But if you got beat, it was extremely hard. Extremely hard. There was a lot of running. It was long. You do an afternoon session, so you maybe start at 10, quarter past 10. You finish at half 12. Lots of touches on the ball, a lot of keep balls, but a lot of small sided, but lots of running at the end. You'd have your lunch, and then you do your afternoon session, and you do an hour and a half, maybe weights, maybe some shooting, maybe obviously defending your head in the balls. But the weights was quite hard conditioning work.
sure.
Tuesday, similar, hard morning. Maybe a little bit more relaxed Tuesday afternoon. Obviously, technical side. Wednesday, you'd probably be in, but it would only be a single session. But still relatively hard. Maybe a little bit of conditioning as well in the morning session, but you'd probably get the afternoon off. Thursday, then it will tailor down a little bit, albeit you still do a couple of hours, but there'll be a lot more finishing and shooting, more
Mm,
structural play. Never really did any sort of shape work really in those days, corners, set pieces. They normally all got done on the weekend. Friday was the
mm,
best day. You always knew what Friday was. It was always in the gym, five-a-side, little warm-up, little doggies, little short sprints, five-a-side for an hour. Brilliant, loved it. And then
mm.
you'd get Shirley's egg and chips after, and apple crumble and custard for afters. And then the team sheet would come out on the board, see where you were.
Love it.
Brilliant.
Brilliant, really interesting. Because something like that, that's why I like these questions. Because something like that I never really thought about. But actually, it's like, and it'd be interesting now. Well, it's the type of question I might ask someone like, because obviously that was in your day, so it's in your day, but you know what I mean. And like talking to someone like Trev, and ask Trev, and like Sinks is, that evening, ask his,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
was the week, because I think it's a bit different because
yeah, yeah,
they had Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday Club where they used to get out on the piss on a Tuesday
yeah.
night with him and Razor. So that'd be quite interesting.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah, that was the culture club.
right, just because the last one, then we're done. Given the choice, would you rather play a top team on Boxing Day or New Year's Day? Good question. Good
Given the
question.
choice, would you rather play a top team on Boxing Day or New Year's Day?
So yeah, because obviously you have that sort of Christmas period. Do you want to play a big team on Boxing Day?
We normally used to. Well, obviously they're not that big though, are they, Tottenham?
No.
We normally used to play a local derby on
Yeah.
Boxing Day more so than New Year's Day.
Did you
It
enjoy
was
that
still,
Christmas? Did you
it
enjoy
was
that
still.
Christmas period?
We just got used to it. I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, Christmas Day we were in. Probably might have the morning with the family or whoever,
Mm.
and then have your dinner, and then come in for training, and then stay in the hotel. Yeah, it was always I probably preferred the Boxing Day one
Yeah.
because um, you'd probably play on the 28th or 29th, then you play New Year's Day. So um, leading up to the Boxing Day, you probably had a week where you didn't. So that was up, and after the third, four, everyone's fed up with Christmas and New Year and the drinking, and obviously we'd played 3 or 4 games at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the fiery one. The boxing, I preferred that one.
Yeah. Good. No, good question. Well, I'm happy. Well, that'll do it. As I said, we got just a reminder about in May, 13th of May. So obviously that's the Sunday. It's a Friday before the last game of the season at home. With Mr. Slater and obviously Mr. Ward, Mr. Effington, and Mr. Sinclair. It'll be a really good night. I'll be there. But if you want to be there, there's a few tickets still available. There's Ian's number there. Text him. He'll get it all sorted, and it'll be a really good night. And it's always good at the Rusk. It's a great venue. It's a great West Ham venue there, and so it'd be good fun. And it's only down the road from me, so I haven't got a long walk. So that's good. Well, I'll drive, but it's not a long drive. Stu, man, been a pleasure. Thank you so much, my friend.
Brilliant, Russ. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, and I'll kick you out. So don't worry. I'll see you Thursday, man.
Thanks, buddy. Take care, mate.
Take care. See you soon. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Let me kick Stu out. So he's out. There we go. He's out. Ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Mr. Stuart Slater. What a legend. What a legend. Lovely, lovely, lovely man, as always. We have got... we'll be back tomorrow lunchtime for the lunchtime show. And then we got the 5 o'clock show. Tomorrow as well, we'll be putting out... I went to the Inclusive Irons 50 years 3 pioneers event, so we've put together a little video of that, some really interesting interviews. Some guys like Kick It Out were there, and Lee from the Inclusive Irons. They had a band. They had Gary Firminger doing a reggae slot. They had John Charles, his son, there talking as well. So it's a really good event. So we'll put that video out tomorrow evening as well. So it's about half an hour because I've kept all the interviews and all the speeches. It's really, really interesting. And then we start getting ready for Chelsea. So we'll have the preview for the Chelsea game probably Saturday night. Watch along on the Sunday, and then we start getting ready for the big game next week. First leg of the Europa League semi-finals. Unbelievable, Jeff. And we hope to get, we'll have a probably Tuesday night. Hopefully we'll get another X-Hammer. As I said, we've got quite a few nice ones lined up. We've got, who we got lined up? We've got Trevor Morley. We got him lined up. We got Timmy Boy Breaker. We got Matty Holmes. We've got... Pat Holland. Who else have we got lined up? I did tell Anton. I can't remember. But they're going to be up for the next few weeks. So what we try and do is get one out each week if we can. So hopefully we'll get them out. We've also, hopefully, he said, when he's just going through his thing with Anton. Oh, who else? Yeah, we said Slater. Pete Butler. Can't forget about Pete Butler. Pete Butler. Coming on the show soon as well. So we've got, so we'll try and do one every week for the next few weeks. Also, we'll be having we also have some non-football sports stars, West Ham fans on. If that makes sense. So we've got that coming up. We'll have at least 2, if not 3, West Ham supporting sportsmen coming on, which would be fun. One of them... No. Oh, wait. One of them, we're just trying to... He was being a bit busy recently, but he's not now. So he's got a bit of time off. So we're trying to get it... So we've got to arrange that. We was going to arrange it before, but he got a bit busy. If you're that clever and can decipher who that was, there we go. But there we go. So we've got all them lined up as well. Tomorrow lunchtime we'll be doing our transfer roundup. We'll be taking all the transfer news in the last couple of days and basically barraging with all the rumours. I'll be joined by a special guest. Tomorrow. So a new face to the channel. So make sure you check that out at 12:30 tomorrow. It's all exciting. Look, this is exciting. It's exciting. Also, we'll be doing the next rounds. Obviously, we're coming to May. When you've got the next round of our... my brain's gone to mush now. Of our members raffles that'll be coming out. Don't forget about that night on the 13th of May, with the Tricky Wingers night. As I said, Ian's got a few tickets left. His number's on there. I'll give it another plug. I did say I would. He's a top man, Ian. Puts on some great nights. He did one recently, a couple of weeks ago, with the promotions, and everyone who was involved in the West Ham promotion with Colton Cole, and I think Jimmy was there, and Reg was there, and this one's going to be a really interesting night because Wardy's a great host. So as you saw, Slates is a wonderful man, beautiful man. Trevor's really outspoken, so it'd be really interesting to get his point. And Matty's just lovely as well, so it'd be a really good night. 20 quid, absolute bargain. Friday night, DJ Rusty B will be there as well. What more can you ask? What more can you ask, indeed? Right, well, let's have a few more comments and then we'll skedaddle for the night. Pete Butler, lovely. Pete Butler, lovely man. So we'll try and get one of them. It's just trying to sort it all out because obviously you've got the midweek because it's Thursday and it's then Thursdays, then Friday. So Wednesday will be the preview. So we're trying to sort it all out. But anyway, not Danny Dyer. Trying Danny. I'm trying for Danny. I'm trying to get Danny on, but he's a bit busy at the moment. Although he's stopping. Imagine if he got Nobes on. Oh, still got to do the bloody Noble era as well. I've gone drunk as a sock, perhaps. The golf. What do you mean the golf? What do you mean the golf? I don't know. Michael, let me know what you mean. The Queen. No, it's not the Queen. She can't be allowed. Hasn't got a lot of mobility, is she, at the moment? Bless her. So it can't be. Russ, can you see if Anton Ferdinand is available? I think you're more likely to get Anton Baker from the West Ham network, to be honest. But anyway, just Carlton Cole. There we go. Alex Walkinshaw. It's not Alex Walkinshaw. Alex Walkinshaw will be coming on eventually, but it's not Alex Walkinshaw. There we go. It's not Paolo Di Canio. I wish. I probably wouldn't be able to talk if it was Paolo Di Canio, to be honest. It's not Carlton Cole. We've had Carlton on before, actually. Love Carlton. Top man is old Carlton. But yeah, so as I said, we'll have in the next sort of 4 or 5 weeks, we'll have Trevor Morley, we'll have Pete Butler, we'll have Tim Breaker, we'll have Matty Holmes. Plus, also on top of that, we've got 1, 2, 3 sportsmen who are West Ham fans. Plus 1, 2, 3. Plus an actor. At least one actor who's a West Ham fan. Yeah. So plenty to go. Plenty to keep you guys happy. And that's on top of everything else. That's on top of all the Hammers headlines, on top of all the daily shows, on top of all the previews and reviews and watch-alongs. And oh my goodness. Lucky people. Lucky devils. As I said, if you're new and here, give it a like, give it a comment. Loads of them, indeed. Loads of them. Loads of them. Not Boogers. Boogers is the only one, right? Boogers is the only one who turned me down for an interview. He's like my white whale, Marco Boogers. We communicate quite a lot. We do. But every time I say, when you're coming back up... Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you've liked it, give it a like. Give it a bloody good like. Bloody good like. And I said, we'll be back here 12:30 tomorrow doing the transfer rumours. Hopefully with a new face on the channel. A new face on the channel coming on tomorrow. So make sure you check that, even to just say hello to the new face. Yeah, that sounds good. And thanks to everyone who subscribes to our channel. We're obviously in the road to 12,000 subscribers. And also thank you to all of our current members. As I said, we do every month we do a members draw. The Luckster, please, if you're watching, just email us at westhamnetwork@gmail.com. You won the signed team shirt. I also need to do the signed shirt draw for the Easter egg appeal for Ironspoon Food Banks, and then in May we'll do a draw for the next monthly draw, just so that's how it all works. Every month we do a draw. But also I'd like to thank all our channel members at the end of each show. So take care everyone, stay safe, wash those hands, stay lucky, stay cheeky, and I'll see you guys in a few hours, about 12 and a half hours, no, 11 hours, no, 13 hours. Ciao for now.
Stays the same. Want to let it change. It's like a family tree, part of you and part of me. And if we should separate,